Sound the trumpets. Beat the drums. Wave the flags. British flags.
You might have heard of this car.
The Morris Mini Minor. Sit in it, ride in it, drive it. 4 happy people in a big, big little car.
The cars that are turning Mr. Man in the street into Mr. Man behind the wheel.
You don't believe it, do you?
Go on, try me.
The nippy, zippy, raring for a trippy, the symbols of success in Britain today.
So that's 40 years of Mini then. That's 40 years of affordable motoring, of priceless memories, of amazing motorsport success, of high fashion, of being stranded in the middle of the night in the hard shoulder. Oh, who didn't love a Mini at some point in their life, eh? Oh, I'm sorry. Just feeling a wee bit emotional, that's all. And I'm sure many of you are too. Don't be. You might as well forget old Mini ever existed. It's dead now. Get over it. Because there's a new Mini. And even though we've come to Italy to drive it, there will be absolutely no further references to that Mini spectacular Michael Caine starring movie, The Italian Job. Why? Because this particular job is very German. The new Mini, brought to you by BMW. Is it the most hyped car ever? A disgrace to the memory of the original? Is it a proper Mini? Exactly what should a proper Mini be like these days anyway? And can I get away without using the word cheeky to describe it? Oh, questions. Well, I suppose a new Mini would look something like this, although really, there's very little point in me babbling on about its shape because we knew 3 years ago or more that it was going to look like this, and even the bloke who designed it reckons he's a bit bored of it now. That's the price you pay for such a long-winded launch process. Whatever, the new Mini is one of those funky retro things that you either love or you hate. And plenty of people are gonna love it. They'll fall for those big, friendly, saucer-eyed headlamps and that impish cartoon character grin. They'll love the chunky wheel at each corner stance. And when was the last time anybody got away with a two-tone paint job so convincingly? 1982, I think, on my mate's dad's Cortina Ghia. Inside, there's yet more flair, more imagination and more retro flourishes. Austin Mini? Nah, it's more Austin Powers. There's cute detailing everywhere you look. Bumpers, windows, doors. Even lifting the bonnet, something you had to do rather a lot on the old car, reveals that it's a one-piece clamshell job, headlights and all. Clever, until you have a shunt. Ooh, that could be expensive. Actually, that's a word worth keeping in your head when you're talking about this car. Although with prices starting at just over £10,000, the new Mini is well within reach. It just exudes expensiveness. Take these doors, for example. Very heavy. Solid. This car might be small, but it feels expensive, solid and small in that order. BMW might well be onto something here, you know. Indeed they might. Imagine a compact, economical city car with all the usual BMW design, engineering and handling qualities, wrapped up in a body that's a techno remix of a chirpy, much-loved British icon. It's beginning to make sense, isn't it? Oi, I thought I said no more Italian Job references. Downsizing. Everybody's at it. And although the new Mini is bigger because we're all getting bigger, it's still roughly the same size as the Ford Ka or the Volkswagen Lupo. Its cabin is surprisingly wide. The seats are set very low and there's a magical sensation of space, here in the front at least, with loads of headroom. It feels like the sort of car you really want to get by the scruff of its neck. Get stuck in the back seat behind anyone taller than about 5'8" though, and it's them you'll want to throttle, not the car. 40 years of progress and the new Mini's rear accommodation is fit only for children, sadomasochists or your shopping. Forget the back seats then, let's concentrate on the front seat action. Right, steering wheel. It's pretty ugly actually, although it's surprisingly nice to use. It's very chunky. Dash layout, I'm not so keen on that either actually. It's all a bit over the top and a bit camp frankly. The rev counter's sitting here in a little pod right in front of me. What a shame the speedometer isn't sitting nestling alongside it where I can actually see it, rather than having to take my eyes off the road for too long to find it in the middle. Oh, I know, it's all supposed to be charming and retro and all that stuff. Maybe I'd like it a bit more if I was wearing my rose-tinted spectacles. There should be nothing nostalgic about the way the new Mini drives though. Its rear suspension is state-of-the-art BMW and its body has twice the stiffness of its nearest rivals. Its 1.6 litre engine is brand new too and produces 90 bhp in basic Mini 1 guise, or 115 bhp in this, the Cooper version. A supercharged Cooper S arrives soon. Which should be an absolute riot because even the basic Cooper is a hoot to drive. Okay, so it doesn't have quite the same kart-like agility that the old Mini was so famous for, but its steering is almost perfect. It's quiet and refined, amazingly so for such a little car, and it's dead easy to get into a nice flowing rhythm with it. A slick gear change helps here, as does the crisp throttle response. Do you like these road test words? Although overall you'd have to say that the Mini feels spirited rather than truly fast. Sweet little engine though. It even sounds a bit like an old Mini when you hit about 4,000 RPM, although it is a bit gutless further down the rev range. It might be a tiddler, but it has big car safety. It returns an average of 42 miles per gallon and its emissions are very competitive too. The new Mini is a triumph. I like this little car a lot. If you're a purist or a Mini traditionalist, then you probably won't. It's not the revolution that the original car was. It breaks no new real ground. Heck, it's not even that space efficient. Think of it instead as a BMW 1.5 Series, and it starts to make more sense. It looks good. It feels good. It's even good value. And besides, this one doesn't have to last 40 years.
Still to come on Top Gear.